Freedom continues to make its way back to planet Earth.
There's onboard Dragon looking up at the drones. Fully inflating there. Oh, amazing views. Again, you get a real idea of how fast this thing is coming back.
The main deployment of the parachutes.
So yeah, we should be getting the mains deploying any moment now.
It's all coming from the WB-57 plane, it looks like.
Those two drones will be shed and they'll kind of pull out the four main ships. You'll see what I mean in a moment, but those two drones will be let go of and the drones will pull out the mains. So here we go, 4 mains now deployed.
That view was from...
Now it's okay, they're going to reef like that for a little bit, which means they'll slowly inflate as they hit the air more. So it's okay that they're kind of bunched up for now. They have plenty of time for them to fully open up and help slow them down.
There we go. Looking like we've got 3 fully reefed, the 4th lagging behind a little bit, but it looks like we've got 4 mains fully expanded now, and that will slow Crew Dragon Freedom down to a safe, comfortable
Discussion here, Commander Nick Hague.
Comfortable access.
As we heard right there, Commander Nick Hague will be calling out the altitude of the Dragon capsule from...
We're getting really close to splashdown. Again, it's not going to be the most gentle, given how fast they were going, how fast they still kind of are going, and their bodies readjusting.
But I have to say personally, I would take a Dragon over a Soyuz or a Shenzhou any day.
Something about the traditional splashdown, that's for sure. Which, for about a minute and a half left of it coasting on those parachutes, hopefully to touch down in the Gulf. And that looks like the view from Megan, the recovery
Perhaps. Maybe a drone even.
Oh, it could be the drone that they deployed from Megan as well. They have that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a drone. There's no way there's a boat that's, you know, floating that fast.
Good point.
Oh.
With that, yeah, you can see the smile the second the light hit inside the capsule.
Beautiful, beautiful weather on the Gulf Coast of Florida.
400 meters to go. And now you get an idea of just how much they slowed down. The aerial view gave a crazy idea of the speed at which it comes down. And now in comparison, looking from this drone-based view, it is a lot slower, which is amazing to go from 17,500 miles per hour down to 0 in just under an hour.
Copy, 200 meters. Brace for splashdown.
Here we go.
Again, the NET in the top left note earlier than.
There on your
it's
screen,
okay.
continue to monitor progress of the Dragon spacecraft. And we're going to stand by for splashdown located in the Gulf of America off the coast of Tallahassee, Florida.
Here we go, folks. Crew 9.
And
back to Earth.
Crew 9, back on Earth.
We'll wait for some words.
Splashdown. Good main release.
Copy, splashdown. We see main chutes cut. Nick, Alex, Butch, Suni, on behalf of SpaceX, welcome home.
It's just an amazing what a ride. I think a capsule full of friends here to here.
And the capsule looks to be in stable 1, which means upright. We'll listen for that official call out, but that appears to be stable 1, upright,
and as you can see on your
as
screen, we have visual confirmation of splashdown. Dragon Freedom has returned home and NASA astronauts. System safety verifications are in progress. We'll report back when recovery personnel are en route.
We're in section 2, report decimal 800 landing response. And looking for your word on the turn.
concern is they use hypergolics to help control it. You don't want any hypergolic leaks or gases getting into the crew cabin. And you'll also notice many times now during this recovery effort, you'll see these sort of sniffer sticks that will be absolutely
Freedom very toasty at this point. I mean, just especially on the rear, just look how brown and scorched it is. But that's what re-entry does, people. This is why we have to invest in high-tech thermal protection systems.
There's a great view from above of
approach. Expect personnel alongside in the next few minutes.
And now these guys, the first responders that come out here, they do quite the job. You will see them jumping into the water and onto the capsule. You will see them doing a lot of work, again, safing it, making sure it's good to go, and then putting on all of the hinges, the attachment points, and the straps needed so that Megan can then scoop it up out of the water, place it onto a little donut kind of on the deck, and then roll it back to extract the crew. So that's still going to take some time to be able to do that. First and foremost is you see what I was talking about before, the sniffer stick, that sort of stick that they're pointing out. You'll also notice that they're wearing all of the hazmat materials and the masks there, just in case. This is not, it's not Harry Potter waving a magic wand, unfortunately, but it just kind of looked like it. Oh man. Wonder if anyone was actually able to see that splashdown. I know Warren was asking earlier, does Mexico hear a sonic boom when Dragon goes overhead? I don't know if anyone would actually hear the sonic boom from this one.
I'd imagine that the atmosphere, even though it's very, very rough for a re-entry in terms of the thermal regime, it's thin enough that any kind of sonic booms wouldn't reach. Or maybe there isn't even a sonic boom produced, because remember, supersonic is relative. Mach 1 is relative to the density of the atmosphere that surrounds you. So I don't know, maybe there's a video in there. Are they actually traveling supersonic?
Oh no, they just volunteered to write it. Here's a question from Boxer who's asking, is this the first use of this capsule? Cruise 10's was the second flight. So how many times do we know has Freedom flown?
This is completing its 4th mission to space. It first flew the Crew 4 mission back in 2022, and it was then assigned to Axiom Mission 2 in 2023, in May of 2023. Earlier in 2024, in January, it flew the Axiom Mission 3, and this Crew 9.
Any of that upon those checks, so we'll continue to move through the timeline. Next up is a process called rigging, which you see happening right now on your screen. This is when a SpaceX recovery personnel actually works to climb aboard the capsule and work through procedures ahead of lifting onto the nest of the recovery vessel Megan. We heard it's going to be about 25 minutes or so until that lift actually takes place.
There you go, didn't need to explain it myself. But yes, you will see the
SpaceX flight surgeon on Dragon Ground Private.
and that's what I was just discussing with that private medical call.
Yeah.
So, this rear crane design that will be used to come scoop up the capsule, apparently its original purpose for the rear crane design is for buoy servicing. But in this case, they rig up the Crew Dragon, and you see the amount of physical effort to climb onto this capsule that, again, less than an hour ago was in space, and less than 15 minutes ago was engulfed in plasma. Climb on it and put hooks on it.
Yeah. That's quite a job that person has there.
And they do regular training as well out at sea. We've seen them do that training on some of our Space Coast Live cameras. You see them go out and come back for it, which our Space Coast Live cameras, by the way, it's our 24/7 feed, taking a look at everything going on in the port, Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, and Kennedy Space Center. And reminder, everything you're seeing, this is just about 10 minutes after splashdown. That's it.
Yeah. One was already available on station, and there was a spare SpaceX suit on board the station that was, both Butch and Suni tried them on, but that fit Suni Williams the best, so that is the suit she was wearing on re-entry, and when they load the Dragon onto the recovery ship there, Megan, we should see Suni exit the capsule there in her SpaceX suit. Butch Wilmore, on the other hand, SpaceX was provided the details for the different his arm length and leg length and torso size, etc., all of his different body measurements, and they constructed a brand new suit for him, which was then shipped up to the station on a cargo mission, and that's what he wore on the way back down. So we should see Butch and Suni in their SpaceX suits as they exit Dragon, maybe in about 10-20 minutes time.
Yes, and I see people saying that they see dolphins. I've been looking, I see what looks like the reefing lines, the lines from the parachutes that are splashed down. I don't know if those things that you see popping up there are dolphins or not. If so, that is spectacular. I just saw something poke itself out of the water there. Those.
There we go.
Oh my gosh, they are dolphins! Look at that! Holy smokes, those are dolphins right around the capsule that just came back from space!
They are the first to welcome the crew back to Earth, and at the same time disobeying NASA's request that you don't get up close to the capsule. I'm sure there's a pass for the dolphins.
This is the first time I've ever seen dolphins around a return space vehicle. This is spectacular. Sorry, my words are kind of useless right now, but this is unbelievable. What a welcome home. You haven't seen anything other than the orbit of the Earth and the inside of your capsule and ISS for 9 months. Have some dolphins. Oh, goodness gracious. And again, this is the final splashdown on the East Coast. Don't know if you'll be getting those dolphins out on the West Coast. We'll see. Ethereal Swordsman saying in high-power rocketry there exists a parody of Puff the Magic Dragon called Chuff the Tragic Rocket. Apparently that means when rocket motors don't come up in pressure and just puff. Good to know. Thank you for the support and the message. Ethereal Swordsman, good to see you here. And Biggs, how long does it take for crew to be cleared for home? So once they get out of the capsule, about how long till they're home running? Dolphin Cam continues. Mark Potter is mentioning, because we said this is the final East Coast splashdown, was wondering why. It has to do with the re-entry process. In fact, we're discussing it. It has some area for storage in the back, all unpressurized. Once it's ready to re-enter, it doesn't have a heat shield on that part, so they get rid of it, they jettison it. Where they jettison it would end up occasionally where there are people. It is washed up on shore in Australia. Potential physical pieces have been spotted crashing down onto land. So as a safety measure, to change when you jettison the trunk, you just change where you land. So as a result, they're switching from the East Coast to the West Coast for all recovery operations.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago, the most famous incident, a huge chunk of the fin and the trunk. So there we go, 5 minutes to go until we left. But yeah, there was a huge, kind of like a shard of the fin from the Dragon's trunk, which kind of hit the ground at a farm in Australia. Luckily, no one was injured, but when you have debris of that magnitude making it through the entry, it's a wise decision to change your trajectory so that that kind of debris is not getting anywhere near populated areas.
So much for 5 minutes until lift. Here they go.
They're doing it right now.
Look at this. We haven't seen a drone view of this procedure ever. I think this is a first at daytime. The aerial.
This is really spectacular.
Do you see the drone operator, by the way, with the yellow hat? So as you mentioned, this is the Dragon's nest. It will settle down on top of that. You may see some water splash out after it has been sitting in the waters for about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Nothing out of the ordinary though. This is all nominal procedure so far.
You see there's the water pouring out.
Are completing final checks and stand by for translation to the egress platform.
Great wording. Recovered But yes, they're aligning it, so that's why you see it kind of going up again. You want to get it centered on that cushion, and then that cushion is on a set of kind of rails that you see there, those two lines, gristums. There's some more debates as to what actually caused it. Basically, the hatch was ejected, water came in. They started to rescue the capsule first before rescuing Gus. They did eventually pick him up first. Liberty Bell sank to the bottom of the ocean, but was recovered as part of the massive recovery effort in the late 90s. 30 minutes since splashdown, and they are doing the final positioning of the capsule on the deck.
They're going up again. Third time's the charm, maybe?
They like launches, just maybe not.
Yeah.
Synthetic is wondering, by the way, do they reuse the capsule or do they reuse the internal components? Put them in a new shell? There's a lot of parts. You will see there are stickers and things and markings on the outside of Dragon to denote that it has flown before. So yes, some parts are replaced, but right, a lot of it is still the same capsule.
Yeah, so as you can see there's some covers which we saw during the drone deploy and the main chute deploy. There's some covers that cover these things that are, I think they're pretty much lost. They can't be recovered, right? But as we saw earlier, there were people scooping up the chutes. I don't think they reuse the chutes, but at least they collect them. And apart from that cover, that Dragon, give it a lick of paint, maybe a bit of a touch up on the heat shield.
It looks like you are settled into the nest now. Team is working through hyperball sweeps.
Now you see them sliding the capsule closure.
Is in progress.
I would imagine they can feel it, and we can definitely see it.
There we go, coming up to dock, shall we say? There we go. Cushioning up to the little platform there, scooting forwards, and that just gives the crews on board easy access to the hatch of Dragon there.
Yeah, as opposed to a jet bridge at an airport where they move the jet bridge to the plane.
Hatch opening now. Expect hatch open in about 2 minutes.
So there we go, everybody. 2 minutes until Butch, Suni, Nick, and Aleksandr.
To get on board the International Space Station, they used the docking adapter, which is inside that nose cone at the top. That was open while it was in orbit, and that was where the docking adapter was. So this hatch has remained closed that entire time.
I mean, the docking adapter is still there, it's just been covered up.
Yeah, not the easiest way to get out, especially since there's nothing to dock to. Might as well just use the door.
Yeah, indeed.
Stuart Cake is wondering, what is that heat shield made of that protects it?
I know what it's called, but it's a very kind of developed, I believe it's called Pica X.
It is?
Which is, it's an ablative thermal protection system, which is kind of developed, sort of, not entirely developed by SpaceX, but enhanced by SpaceX, should I say. So I believe it's based off an original design from NASA that SpaceX then brought in-house and kind of made their own version of for Dragon. It's essentially a carbon ablator, kind of, so one big tug, and there it goes.
Pops up, and the crew is back. Butch, Suni, Nick, Aleksandr, they have returned. The door is open. And then, if they land on the West Coast, does that mean they will launch from the West Coast or still get East Coast launches? Nope, all the launches will still be on the East Coast. I can't be the only one that sees that. Anyway, the crew will be coming up very shortly. See all of everyone around it there. So next up will be that egress. And again, thank you to everybody joining us for the return here with Crew 9. We are very glad out there. If you didn't know, there's a lot going on at Starbase, and we do a weekly update on it. And in fact, that weekly update will be coming up pretty much immediately after crew egress completes here. So keep an eye out for Starbase update coming up here today as well at NSF. You can see that that stretcher is on the left. Again, do not freak out. That is totally expected. This is not something special for Butch and Suni for being there extra long. This is literally just a precaution for anybody returning from a long duration space flight. Checking with the crew, making sure everyone's all good. So they'd rather take their time and go a little slow than rush it, especially for the crew inside. It looks like a suit coming out. We'll see who comes out first. A lot of that also comes down to their seat positions of who comes out first. So okay, you see.
Thumbs up, another wave. Caps all around. Nick Hague is off to the medical bay. Smiles
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, Nick Hague, in case you didn't know, has had quite the experience getting into space. His first space flight aborted mid-flight on Soyuz MS-10. So his first flight was quite adventurous. Second flight, it did go up against Soyuz MS-12. And now Nick getting a chance to ride in Crew Dragon. At the space station with Nick, Aleksandr, Butch, and Suni on station since September. So it had been there all the way since September, waiting for the Crew 10 to launch. Crew 9 can come home. Crew 9, of course, now including Butch and Suni. So this capsule has been there the whole time, and now it is finally home.
Our next crew member has egress Dragon. I believe that is Aleksandr. We'll get a close-up, fingers crossed, shortly.
Yep, I see the
That is
Roscosmos.
Aleksandr. Indeed. Get a bit of help. We've got smiles from Aleksandr.
It's
Not
out there.
unexpected.
And the thumbs up. That's his first space flight, by the way. So this is his first return to Earth.
Smiles and waves all around. Did the suit barely through the hatch there? Of course,
Looks like you see helmet, yeah.
supporting crew members.
And there's
Suni Williams.
There's Suni with a big
Wave.
smile and wave to the camera. And again, as they do with all astronauts, an assist back onto the stretcher. That's the first time that her legs have had to work for 9 months, essentially, holding up her body weight.
Suni Williams back on Earth, pilot of the crew flight test for Starliner, returning home as a mission specialist on Crew 9.
And Butch
And
is obviously excited to get out. The stretcher isn't even back yet, and he's already slid out the capsule.
He's eager to make his way home. Probably get back to his warm. I heard he likes knowing his warm.
They made it home for next Christmas.
And there we go. On the stretcher, Butch Wilmore, commander of the crew flight test.
And there we go, folks. That is an empty capsule now with the safe return of 4 astronauts. You see all the applause
from
there.
Butch Wilmore.
Yep.
The spare suit that Butch Wilmore the suit that was delivered to the International Space Station on a cargo mission, that's what Butch Wilmore was wearing. It didn't have his name on it. However, the suit that was already on the station, the quote-unquote spare suit that fits Suni Williams the best, that had Frank Rubio's name on it. So just for those of you who don't remember, Frank Rubio is a NASA astronaut who launched on a Soyuz and landed on a Soyuz, but the 2 Soyuz were different spacecraft because the Soyuz he launched on, I believe, had a coolant issue, and Roscosmos were unsure if the conditions inside of the Soyuz would be